Qualifiers. Ladies and gentlemen, we can go into the first match of the second day of Group B. It is going to be decided today who's flying to Riyadh, who's booking the ticket, who's getting the hotels, who's got a chance at the $130,000 prize pool later this year. And the first little instance, the first little kind of hint of who's going and who isn't. Well, we can see that many vehicle placing, and we're going to see that many smart rotations again, as we have the first skirmish that is happening. It is Sri Lanka and the Maldives, if I saw that correctly. First 1v1 trade, I think, has happened. Interesting enough, no one's really close to any of these players to potentially flush them out. Agent has now made the cross down from the tree line on towards the building, and potentially the first flush could come through. But look at this, Clumsy. He's already trying to close the distance. Can't do so just yet.
They have the man advantage in this close vicinity, but they don't want to let the res come through. They're trying to force this now. Cesar coming around the side. He's getting shot in the back. Doesn't have a whole lot of time. Wants to stick the res, waiting for the cover from his teammate. Agent knows that he's in trouble here. He's looking for a free kill. He hasn't gone for the res just yet. And now the crawl coming through. The flush will be coming through. They know exactly where to pick that play up. They know exactly where he is. And they're trying to play it as safe as possible, Felix. They're trying to keep this clean here with no chance for a trade, no chance for a flush. And it's looking good right now, but he finds two.
Are you kidding me? Are you absolutely kidding me? Agent, what if you just told it? That was the mutant. That was a mutant. And well, I don't even think I've ever seen a frag with a mutant happening in esports. I mean, at some point, I think esports players would rather pick up a pistol like a P92 than a mutant, but in this instance, it worked out perfectly. I think two of the players didn't have any helmet on, and the mutant can be quite deadly with that burst in close proximity. And unfortunately for the Maldives, none of that is really going to happen, because none of the players are really close by, which is surprising to me. They should have had that information that all of the Sri Lankan players are around them pretty early on, but something, I guess, must have happened for them not to support their teammates earlier. Next hot job is coming in. It is Thailand in boot camp. And we've seen this before. Last time, it was a 1v4. Just different teams, if I remember correctly.
I'm not even sure if it was different teams. I think it was...
Was it Thailand?
It might have literally just been Thailand. Yeah, I think so. But we'll see what they do this time. Secret already eliminated. Confirmed as well. You can see William there in the different distance looking in, seeing if he can do something with this, maybe steal a kill away or two. But Brunei, they might have learned their lessons. They know that man advantage isn't everything, and they know they have to be careful about how to single out these shotguns. And we just saw that there, right? We just saw that in the hot drop versus the Maldives. Just having that third guy there can make all the difference in the world. If they only had two, they would have lost that contest. They would have lost that fight. So manpower can be super, super advantageous. Let's see, Japan is in the scuffle as well.
As Japan, they cannot afford to have one more bad round, as we have Chevy picking up the first one. That's a huge upset. If Brunei already does damage to Thailand that early in the second day, that is bound to be a really tough one for Thailand. They need everything around to count. We said it before, they need 20 points to even catch up to the top teams and even get closer to the top team situation. Chevy gets another one. Oh, it's traded, but not a problem. You can see Brunei, everyone's got each other's bags, and they will not lose a single player. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a huge upset. Brunei clean wiping Thailand off the map.
That's very, very clean as well. Very methodical, good team play. That's exactly what you need. And Thailand is one of the fewer times where they come short in the hot drop. They've been hot dropping a whole lot yesterday, remember, or the day before. A part of their success was picking up 4 kills early, multiple times onto Japan, and one time onto Brunei. They were able to just consistently get points out of these hot drops. You're not always going to be able to do that. The more games you play, the more things are going to go wrong. And this is where other teams that avoid these risks early, like maybe a Pakistan, and can really abuse the fact that you've been going out early.
Really can. We can tell the circle, at least, doesn't really favor anyone just yet. It's completely centralized, and almost everyone is still in it. And still, at this point, I gotta say, less hot jobs than I expected. I don't even know where everyone went to be able to dodge each other so perfectly. They still have 61 players remaining. I thought it was going to be at least 3, maybe 4 hot jobs. Realistically, there is obviously enough compounds, but actual loot spots, really, really interesting. I think plenty of teams kind of, took survivability at a way higher priority than what they usually did, just to 100% dodge that hot job. And looks like it worked out pretty perfectly. So far, only 2 teams that have been eliminated. as we are heading into phase number 2.
Timor Leste, southwest of that bootcamp area. They got to be a little bit careful about what's going on around them, as they are fairly close by to Nepal, a team that we respect massively for their team fights. So, not an easy position to be in. Shui, by the way, got himself all 4 of that. All 4 eliminations going towards him in that hot drop fight. That's going to feel good. That's going to boost the confidence quite a bit. Timor Leste has found the first one. And it's Bangladesh who they found, so they might not even be aware that there's more teams around them. Ooh, this is not looking good. This is multiple teams. Cambodia on the top. Nepal in the distance as well. This is an absolute mess, and I don't think Bangladesh is getting out of this alive.
I don't think so either. Ranza is back, so is Nang. They have been looking for a big round, and maybe this is the one they will find. Nate to potentially seal the deal, and this is so unfortunate for Bangladesh. They need a good round as well. Bangladesh is out of this one. Cambodia is there to secure plenty of these points. But look at them, they've been supported from the distance. I think there might have been Team Indonesia picking up a couple of frags as well.
There's a lot of third parties coming in there. Look at Vietnam as well, already positioned themselves. But there's a big, big piece of information here for Timor-Leste. They know about Nepal. Bogitio is the one that spots that out. Nepal was creeping up, slowly making their way on in, slowly figuring out where these players were to see if they could punish. Now William, he's going to get himself a freebie. And that is good news for Timor-Leste, bad news for Nepal, who thought they were just completely unknown on that approach.
Yes, it is. Japan having their first confrontation here. Might have even been the second one. I do remember them having a team close by really early on as well. But no one's really forcing it, and I think you don't have to at this point. They're in a pretty good spot in the circle. Resort is always a position that, if you're the first ones there at least, you can kind of take so many creative and dangerous angles that no one's really contesting you ever again afterwards. Especially if you sit towards the eastern side. But oh my goodness, Apollo gets spotted out by rotating there, and he's still relatively far away. Look at this, he's only got bandages if I saw that correctly, so Japan needs to run to the rescue, and that's what they're doing. First knock has already happened. Flush is coming through. But I don't think he's gotten it. There is another team approaching.
This is a messy, messy fight. You can see Garnet holding down the angle with the QBZ. Does a good bit of damage. I think that's Myanmar gone.
Wow.
It is Apollo almost confirmed as well. Look at the HB combined right now in Japan. They got 2 of these elims, but they've got to be careful, and they're very, very scared of any potential third parties coming in. Apollo Res should barely come through, and Pakistan should not be just in position to benefit, to sort of abuse the weakness. But when we're looking at the map, they already have. They've already out-rotated Japan. They've put themselves between them and the circle, and they're gathering information about some of the compounds in front of them that are absolutely free as well. So Pakistan is using the timings they get to position themselves for the rest of the game.
Yep, really good stuff coming out. As the circle is about to start running again. It is slowly but surely closing. It is also, gotta take it back, not a good circle for Resort. I somehow thought that was going to be better, but now both these teams will have to rotate off either way. And the only thing I'm really interested in is who shot at Myanmar in the first place? Was it Pakistan? Because I felt like they were getting shot from the west side as well. Probably must have been Pakistan, the sidelines.
Could have been a knock in there. Could have been Apollo getting a second one. Either way,
Maybe,
they did trade Apollo out, but they did lose a member in the process. Yeah, so there was something going on there. Similar things, right, for Cambodia there early on that hillside, just getting peppered from multiple sides. But look at Timor-Leste here in the middle. The brown icons we can see. Shout out to the observers for giving us a bit of map time. That is a wild split. That is a crazy split. Not because of the area, because they have one compound that's very strong and very big, and they're holding that as a solo, with the other 3 players just setting up on rocks and trees, just trying to be a nuisance, trying to be in between teams, catching players off guard. It's a strategy that can pay off. You might be able to pick a few players apart, but if you're losing members, you're very quickly going to realize that you don't have a point to fall back into.
Indonesia. They have plenty of space to fall back into, to put it in your words. Still looking for any kind of information over on that southwestern side, southeastern side especially. but they will have all the time in the world. No one's really around them, and it kind of reminds me of that very first Senna game, the methodical kind of very strategic play, knowing the space you can take is the space they will take as well. It's such a big part of Indonesia's play, as we have the next kind of, I guess that wanted to be a breach, as the next kind of breach kind of fails at least, as Bhutan picks up one frag. It is Mono getting that one on the board for Bhutan.
I think they were just running. They were just hiding out. They weren't peeking anything. They were just proning behind the corners, waiting for somebody to think that compound would be free. And they get themselves a free kill, get themselves an opening, and it's Laos on the other side that feels that pain. Not something you like to see. Now, Taipei losing one to Nepal on that western side gives a little bit more space over to Nepal, but Japan versus Malaysia is a fight that's very interesting when you're considering where those teams are and where those teams are on the scoreboard as well. Nade coming out.
It's a good nade on top of that as well. As we head on over to Hong Kong, China, and Japan. That's a really good nade to finish that first Japan player that was approaching. And then we said it's such an important round for Japan now. Apollo's right behind it. They need to win this game. The good thing is Hong Kong, China is only 2 players right in front of them. And we got the DBS though, and it picks up the second frag, and there is the trade, but I'm not sure it's gonna be enough because look at this, D-Light is approaching, He gets shot down though! Japan is clutching things out! Oh my lord, how important was that trade? How important was Japan winning this one? They've secured 6 frags already now, as Japan is slowly creeping up on towards the top 4.
He had it all there for a second. He had the 2 players knocked, the third one down to half HP, but he goes for the flush and instead gets taken out while trying to do so. Oh, that was close for Taipei. That could have been the winning fight. Now 4 players up on 4 eliminations for Pakistan. 3 players up. They win the fight versus Malaysia, and they might have a good idea that Japan is close by as well. Yeah, they heard that fight. They might know there's players up on that hillside, but first they have to reset. They have to heal back up. They have to make sure that they know what's going on around them. But if they can continue keeping that fight, they can continue taking that fight to enemy teams. We've seen what they can do.
We've seen what they can do indeed. And now we have them again, Bhutan. The only really troublesome thing for them is that it isn't really a winning compound. And yes, it does usually not end towards the southern side. It usually does end towards the north or west side, as you can see right here. I don't think we've ever had an exit towards Quarry, like an end zone towards Quarry. So I think that was kind of to be expected. But then again, Bhutan, yes, does have its circle, but it's not a compound you usually win these rounds at. You'll be flashed out relatively easily depending on the sidelines of the teams around you. So yes, Bhutan has got a good circle. Are they going to win this? We'll have to wait and see. But at least they'll get some good confidence going, knowing they can make it far into these rounds at the start of a game day, and that's what's so important. Which is also Team Malaysia, Team Thailand, some of these runner-up teams have had such unfortunate luck now in this first round because, well, we said it yesterday. You want to start off a day really, really strong to get that confidence going.
Look at William, Timor Leste. Next to boot camp, 3 of his teammates are holding a center compound, potentially the best compound in the game, and he's just out there vibing. Indonesia, meanwhile, they found Japan. They found a weakened team, and they found the first knock as well. Apollo, he's got to pull off some absolute wonders here if he wants to help out his team, but it's already fallen apart. He's already the last player up, and he's just trying to stay alive, find anything, get anything going. Now the angles are there. Multiple angles for Indonesia. They're surrounding him. They're taking him down. They're once again using the cars, Felix. They're not shying away from that. And it's been beautiful so far. 3 elims is a quiet start for Indonesia, but they're on a side of the circle now where they have plenty of space. They have all the loot they could ever want, and they can make things happen from here.
It's such methodical play. It's exactly what we expect from Indonesia. They're the team that takes as much space as they can. The team that never really lets any single player get into dangerous territory without having backup. And that's what we're seeing right now. Yes, they do have the blue zone at their back right now, but it is phase 4 on Sanok, so that's just naturally going to happen at some point if you don't go for deep circle center. The problem now is, with this specific circle, I think it's really tough for Indonesia to fight their way in. We're going to have to wait and see. Maybe they can get a third party going towards the northern side, but the less time they have, and the more time they kind of on the western side, because a straight push into Timor Leste, I think it's going to be so very tough. We're going to have to wait and see what Indonesia decides to do, but first of all, they're going to be shot out in the open by IQ. He's been a star fragger for Pakistan, and the next one goes down as well. It's a two-man from Pakistan that ruins Indonesia's round. Oh, let's see if Pakistan can even do more damage than this. Now they're getting shot in the back as well. That's what I meant. Indonesia's position not necessarily super helpful for this one, and Yoni is going to secure these frags as well. It's just Razi left alive on that edge. And maybe, just maybe, Pakistan has almost done the miracle now, running in from the blue zone. Maybe that nade is going to seal it. If he throws it towards the left side of the rock, it could be absolutely perfect. Pakistan already having secured 6 frags.
6 nades in the bag as well for Yona, but it's the position from IQ that carries that fight. It's the backstab out of the blue that opens things up, that sends Indonesia just in the middle between multiple teams. Those nades are good, but they're not landing. The rock is providing sufficient cover. IQ now knocked. Yone is prodding it out. They might be able to go for that res, but where do they go from there, right? Plenty of teams in front of them. Not a lot of cover. Loads of open space they have to traverse. So any kill you get at that point, any elimination you get is worth it, and is worth more than trying to go for the zone. So Laos has to be extremely careful here. Now Razi from the back does another bit of damage. He as well wants to get that fight, wants to get this closed out. A kill here is double points. It's a placement and an elimination, and the players know that there's a good chance they will never make it into the zone from here, so any elim they can grab is massive.
Any more frags would be absolutely brilliant. Well, it's done. Unfortunately, couldn't really do damage to the rotation of Laos. I have no idea how they made it through, but apparently they have, and they've also found a building, so great job by Laos. Unfortunately, now the nades are raining in. They've only got that one building, and maybe the shack right next to it, but even that shouldn't be secure, because Pakistan has probably got sidelines on it, or if they don't, Indonesia does at least. So it's still going to be a very tricky spot, but yeah, crazy rotation from Laos. That they made that rotation is honestly one of the craziest things I've seen in this round so far. But they will be cleared out one by one by the looks of it.
Part of the reason that they made it there is because Timor Leste did not have a full team in that compound, right? They're not occupying every edge, and that's what allows Laos to slip on through. William, on a solo play by his lonesome, probably got stuck there, maybe didn't have a chance to move on out, but it does cost them here in the end. Vietnam now, they've had a very quiet game on the top of their hill, but they're starting to activate, they're starting to take these kills, and they're already on 4 now. Pakistan goes down in the kill feed, but they have made it into placements at least. And that's all she wrote for them. Good game once again for the leaders of LOE.
That needs to be more though. Look at this, Vietnam. They're popping off as well. This could be so interesting. With a good game from Vietnam, they'll be right back at the top as well. And that would be another contender, Gozu. Looking for his second frag of the round with Lamborghini already having 2. I've been talking about Lamborghini for so very long, but deservedly so. He's one of the most experienced players of the Vietnam region. Everyone knows him at this point, even more so because of his global championship appearances. As we do head on over to one of the last phases that are really going to decide who is picking up this round. It is the breach from Bhutan now towards Timor Leste. There's 2 teams already in the compound. Make that 3 now.
It's an aggressive breach. No pre-nade there for Timor Leste. 3 players in 1 car. Could have been an absolute disaster, but he doesn't have one at the ready. Tsar, you're still outside. He's not made his way on in. He doesn't even know he's fighting 2 teams at the same time here. They don't even know that there's multiple teams in this compound just yet. Abu, he's right around the corner, but he's trying to make us disengage. He's trying to get the hell out of there, trying to group up with the rest of his squad and leave Bhutan be for now, as they are clearing out the corners where they expected him to be. Compound now evenly shared between these 3 teams, but that's going to be a topic we will revisit once one side of the road is excluded from the circle here.
More shots coming out from Vietnam, talking about the other side of the circle. The last team really standing towards the southern side. They've played it so smart up until now. Question is, where do they go from here? If the circle does decide to shift all the way up north, they've at least got that one advantage, which is everyone else in the compound is fighting themselves. There's no one really to solidify their position there just yet, and that means no one's really going to be focused on them all too much, because they're going to be busy fighting each other. One more frag's potentially going to come on the leaderboard here as Ranza is by the rock. He peeks on top of it, though, and does some big damage. against Guanji. But it's not going to be enough just yet. The sideline is barely perfect for Cambodia over there.
Oh, look at the drive-by as well. They're not messing around. They're not wasting any time. They know they have to move across the road. They know they can't get stuck on this hillside, right? The longer they wait, the more the compound's going to focus them down. So, good moves from Vietnam. This is the game-breaking move for them. If they make it across this road, if they make it to the north side untouched, they have a good chance. If they lose members here, which is easily could be happening, it's not going to be an easy entry. That's a double knock, though, into Bhutan. That's opening the door wide towards the north here.
Oh, that is so unfortunate. Bhutan was the one that breached the compound and worked out so perfect. But look at this. Vietnam is falling apart as well. Timor Leste has got a say in this round. Even though Bhutan almost threw it away. And look at the zones. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me, ladies and gentlemen? We might have a compound ending on Sanok. What are this zone? The next one is going to center up. So that means it's literally going to end in between all of these teams.
It's going to end right on Timor Leste as well. And oh, do they wish they had William with them right now? Do they wish they hadn't gotten so greedy and lost the player early? Vietnam, they get some of the reses back up, but they're in dire straits regardless. They have to smoke towards these buildings, and every team in the compound is going to try to hold them out. We're watching all these different angles, just peppering them. Abu, one of them, that they might expect a little bit less. Now, oh, it's looking like he didn't see Batman there in the grass. But it's a matter of time until they get spotted, and it's going to be incredibly hard to make it in. Abu, maybe the one player they can take out because he's a solo, but he has actually supported by Kevin, so it's just looking impossible for Vietnam here.
Yeah, it does look impossible. I said that the one good thing that could potentially play into their cards would be if everyone else would be fighting themselves, but no one's really... Everyone realized that Vietnam is the first team to move. And what a Molotov. Are you kidding me? What a Molotov. Is he going to survive? I think he's just around... No, he's not going to survive. Lamborghini is taking him down. Now the push from Leo's coming in. Oh, he might get both. He doesn't, though. Yatio is there. Secures the 8th frag for Bhutan. What a perfect round for them as well. They had to breach this building, and they're still getting elimination points.
They can't get the res because of the blue zone. You see the players are crawling. They're like, you have to cross the road now. Don't get stuck in the blue trying to res here. Timor Leste, 2 guys in the building. Bhutan, 2 of them active. I'm not sure if they can get any reses later on, but for now they can't. Now Batman around the side finds one, makes things hard for Bhutan. It's Kevin from the inside. DBS, can he close the game out? He needs 1 or 2 bullets to connect, and that's all. That's all they need to get away with this win. It's a 1v1 for the win, Felix.
It will be so big for Timor Leste. He's got it right around the corner. Just 1 shot needed. He's so very low. He's got the HP advantage. Now the shot comes through. Oh my goodness. It is Timor Leste. Out of all the teams that I think we didn't expect to win, it is Timor Leste to pick up this very first round of the day. And ladies and gentlemen, what an ending. Are you kidding me? It keeps on